Well, today we're celebrating Nowruz, which acknowledges the arrival of spring and the new year in Kurdish culture. And it's fantastic to have you here in Australia's oldest parliament, the New South Wales Parliament. I want to acknowledge all the distinguished guests that we have here, the members of Parliament that are here, and I just wanted to take a minute to go through a few of those if you don't mind. I want to acknowledge Stephen Bali, the member for Blacktown. Of course, his electorate is home to a large Kurdish community. I want to send my appreciation to him for co-hosting this evening. Jenny Leon, the member for Newtown's here. I know that Dr. Joe McGurr, the member for Wagga Wagga, is here. Edmund Attila from Mount Druitt. Paul Lynch here, the member for Liverpool. The Reverend Fred Nile is here. I also know we have another Reverend here, Reverend Bill Cruz, a great friend of the Kurdish community. And attending on her way is Wendy Lindsay, the member for East Hills. I also will be acknowledging several of the leaders of the Kurdish community as we go throughout this evening. The wonderful thing about Nowruz is that it comes with so many fantastic traditions. This evening we've tried to accommodate as many as possible, dancing, traditional music, but one of the most important elements, which is jumping over a bonfire, we weren't able to quite stretch to, but hopefully in the future we'll be able to have a bonfire and be able to jump over that in the coming years without COVID. Obviously this is a cultural celebration, but it means so much more to the Kurdish people. It has a deep meaning. It's a powerful symbol of Kurdish identity, and it's celebrated, and it's a part of not only who Kurdish people are, but a part of their great struggle. I want to acknowledge this new year to express our solidarity with the Kurdish people, and in particular their efforts for a democratic and peaceful future. I'm really delighted to introduce our first speaker this evening, Mira Ibrahim, who's from the Democratic Kurdish Community Centre.
Distinguished guests and dear friends, on behalf of the Democratic Kurdish Community Centre, I welcome you and wish you Happy Nowruz. Happy Kurdish New Year, Newroz Pirozbe. In Kurdish, New Year's Day is called Nowruz, which means a new day. Nowruz has been celebrated by Kurds for at least 2,500 years. Nowruz also celebrates the beginning of spring and new life in Northern Hemisphere. The long, cold winter is over, and the cycle of life is beginning once more. Over the years, Nowruz has come to represent new beginnings, as well as an opportunity to support the Kurdish struggle for freedom and peace. It is a day when Kurdish people all around the world come together to celebrate our unique culture. During Nowruz, we make special foods, we have fireworks, dancing, singing, and poetry recitation. Kurdish families spend the day in the country, enjoying natural and fresh growth of spring. During the 13 days after Nowruz, our families visit each other, and where we can visit the graves of dead relatives. Sadly, so many Kurds are refugees from war and repression, so we can't visit these graves. Everyone tries to resolve any conflicts or misunderstandings that may be carried from the year before. This is why Nowruz has been the time in which our people have many times put forward peace proposals, even to our most ruthless oppressors. This is why Nowruz has been the time in which our people have been times put forward peace proposal, even to our most ruthless oppressors. Sorry, I'll repeat that. On the eve of Nowruz, which is this Sunday, we light bonfires. These fires symbolize the passing of the dark season, winter, and the arrival of spring, the season of light. But they also have a powerful message from Kurdish legend. According to the Kurdish legend, Kawa, a brave blacksmith, led a revolt against a cruel tyrant named Zuhak. Zuhak was so cruel, he demanded 2 human sacrifices every day. But Kawa led an uprising that overthrew the tyrant. To announce the death of the tyrant, bonfires were lit on hillsides throughout Kurdistan, and our ancestors came out to celebrate. Sadly, today the Kurdish people, who are still denying our own country, still face repression from tyrants who not only deny us freedom, but even try to extinguish our culture and identity. They have tried to ban us from speaking our own language. They have even tried to stop us celebrating Nowruz. So when we celebrate Nowruz, we are once again defying the tyrants and standing up for our rights. This is why we are so happy and grateful to have you with us today to celebrate Nowruz. Thank you all so much for your friendship and solidarity. A special thank you to Mr. Jamie Parker and Mr. Stephen Bali for hosting this event. Please enjoy the music and refreshment. Newroz Pirozbe. Thank you.
For the Kurdish people, the first day of spring has important political meaning, as it symbolizes the day on which Kawa, the blacksmith, is said have defeated the tyrant King Dohak. The thieves of Kawa are creating a revolution of people against the contemporary Dahaks today. The Kurdish people light a bonfire on the top of the mountain and jump over it to celebrate the end of dictatorship. From then on, the Kurdish Medians Empire was founded. Those fires symbolize the passing of a dark season, winter, and the arrival of spring, the seasons of a light. On Nowruz 2013, the words of a Kurdish leader, Mr. Abdullah Öcalan, written from his prison cell, were read out at the festival in Ahmed's Diyarbakir in front of 1 million people. Reconciliations and truth were on the agenda in northern Kurdistan and Turkey for 2.5 years before the Turkish state escalated the war with the Kurdish freedom movement, partly in response to the increased popular power of the movement and the victories in Rojava and its beyond. In all part of Nowruz's greeting, he placed particular emphasis on the struggle of women and youth for the democracy and freedom in the Middle East.
As co-chair of the Democratic Kurdish Community Center of New South Wales, I would like to thank you very much for coming here tonight to celebrate Newroz with us. Happy Newroz, Newroz Pirozbe. We really appreciate your presence here this evening because there have been many times in history when Kurdish people left very alone. Today is March 16th. On this day in 1988, the Kurdish people suffered the Halabja massacre. The dictator Saddam Hussein launched the largest chemical weapons attack against a civilian populated area in history and killed around 5,000 Kurds and injured many thousands more in this Kurdish city in Iraqi Kurdistan. In our community in Sydney, we have some survivors of that massacre. They can tell you the terrible truth if you speak with them. They can tell you of their struggle to flee from this massacre. They can tell you of their suffering as a refugee and asylum seekers. During Newroz, we remember our loved ones who have passed. But as we were forced to flee our homeland, there are many loved ones who have passed a long way from us. We cannot visit their graves, but we will not forget them. Will you please join me in a minute of silence to remember the thousands who died in Halabja on this day 33 years ago? Thank you very much, Shahid Namaran. But Newroz is most of all time when we celebrate new beginnings. And while we Kurds have suffered many terrible things over the years, we can also celebrate some great achievements. Our brave Kurdish women and men in the Syrian Democratic Forces in North and East Syria, or Rojava as we call it, defeated ISIS. They liberated not only many Kurdish cities, towns and villages from the terrible Daesh, but also many cities, towns and villages that where the population mostly Arab or members of other nationalities or ethnic groups. They liberated Raqqa, which has the capital of the Islamic State, so-called Caliphate. Now Raqqa is free, and the people that are rebuilding their lives and building their own institution of autonomy and grassroots democracy. The women of Raqqa were even able to celebrate International Women's Day this year. How amazing is that? So these Newroz have some good things to celebrate and new beginnings to be very proud of and very happy to share. One of them is your presence here this evening. So many MPs, so many distinguished people among you have come to share Newroz and celebrate with us. That makes us Kurds are very happy and very grateful. In the hard times our people faced through history, the saying, "We have no friends but the mountains," was said many times. And today, with attacks still continuing on our people in many parts of Kurdistan, the mountains do remain our friends, as that is still where many our people have to flee to escape repression. But from today, we welcome all of you as our mountains too. And welcome again, happy Newroz, Newroz Pirozbe.